People always worried he would pull something like this at the last stage. Watching the scenes from the Capitol yesterday reminded me of the moment in DC on election night just over 2 months ago, when we were waiting in Washington for the results, when the results were unclear, and Donald Trump came out and announced that in his view he had won the election and won it big. And that was a moment when a lot of us gasped. The results weren't at all clear. They certainly weren't so clear that Donald Trump, of the two contenders, could claim that he had won, but he did. And he hasn't shifted from that position. He's dug down on it in the weeks and months since. His team have had multiple opportunities to demonstrate that the contention that he has put out there, that he won. They've had multiple chances to prove that. And at almost every stage, it's been shown that the evidence just isn't there. And so watching the scenes from DC yesterday and the storming of the Capitol looked very much like the climax of that claim that Donald Trump made a little over 2 months ago. His insistence that he won, his insistence to his supporters that they should continue to believe that he had won, and this culminated in the extraordinary scenes we've just seen. So we see Donald Trump going out in the blaze of ignominy, which was, I think, the fear of very many people on the right throughout. There's always been a very interesting question with Donald Trump. Although there have been some very remarkable people who have worked in his administration, why did he find it so hard to coalesce conservative talent around him? And if you can put the answer to that in a nutshell, it's that people always worried he would pull something like this at the last stage. The historian Neil Ferguson said this quite early on in the Trump years, that there was always the possibility that Trump would do something that would make Nixon's exit from office look positively graceful. And here we are in 2021 with the president urging people to march on the Capitol.
Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore.
It was highly incendiary, and it was his last roll of the dice. Effectively, the 6th of January was, as Trump knew, the end game for him. Congress was voting on legitimizing the conclusions of the election and Joe Biden, therefore, being named as the president. Donald Trump and his supporters called on Trump voters to descend on Washington in large numbers, and they did. And the language that the president used was highly inflammatory. I mean, what the president said to the marchers just before they marched on the Capitol was extraordinary, and I think will go down as an example of wildly reckless political rhetoric. He told his supporters, he said, "We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft." That's, of course, the claim he's been making all through the last couple of months, that the election was stolen, something which he still hasn't proved. And then he continued, and this is a really sinister bit. He said, "We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we'll probably not be cheering for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong." Now, if you tell a crowd that and you're leading them to the Capitol, what the hell do you think that they might be likely to do? That's the question, one of the questions that the world will be asking of Donald Trump today.